afternoon. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundant Television found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And you know something? We also have another way you can find us, and that's a podcast. Let me go ahead and give you that website, netnewsnetwork.net. netnewsnetwork.net. We hope you find us out there. I'm pretty sure you'll be very entertained. I wanted to talk to you about how to set goals to save for a house. And I just wanted to tell you, it's something my son and daughter-in-law did. And it took a lot of planning, and it took a lot of not eating out. It took a lot of so for quite a few years. So they bought a place to live as a townhouse close to Raleigh, North Carolina. And so it was a really nice place, got a really good price for it. They went on a 30-year loan. And so they set a goal for themselves to pay the house off in 10 years. They wanted to pay it off before their 10th wedding anniversary, and they did it. I took a lot of sacrifice on that part. Now, a lot of you can't, you're planning on getting married, whatever, you don't know what to do. The bank's not going to tell you how to pay it off early, but I will give you this tip. You can find mortgage calculators all over the internet. Also, what you can do, if you only pay an extra $100 per month, and if you pay twice a month, so let's just pretend your mortgage payment, just for easy calculating, we'll say it's $1,000 a month. So what you can do is pay $1,100 a month, but pay that, knock it in half. So say $550 on the first of the month, even though it's not due then, $550 at the first of the month, and $550 on the 15th of the month. What you're going to do is trick your own self into making an extra payment per month, plus you're also paying an extra $100 per month. And in addition to that. So anyway, it's pretty cool. So how to save money for a house, steps to get moving. Let's go ahead and talk about those. Now I found this, one of my favorite websites here lately is nerdwallet.com. Nerdwallet.com. That would be one of my favorites. Okay, so set a savings target and make saving automatic, and look for ways to minimize expenses when saving for a house. Okay, let's see, how can we get this done? Saving enough money to buy a house might seem like a scaling Mount Everest. I've been there before. I know what that's like, but don't let that stop you from taking the first steps. Once you get moving, you might find the peak more accessible than you expected, and here's how to make that climb. Now, anything starts with a habit. Everything, whether that's losing weight, saving money, whatever, a habit. Once you get yourself adjusted, it's not that difficult at all. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about number one. Number one is the down payment. Okay, now this is the upfront cash that a borrower pays when getting a mortgage to buy a home. Now, down payment requirements vary by mortgage type and by lender. And we touched a little bit on that just a few shows ago. We were talking about saving money. Let's see, now some may be as low as 3%. A down payment calculator can help you determine an amount to save. Now, if you will go to nerdwallet.com, there will be a link that says loan calculator. And so this is an example of one. And there are some things you need, though, some basic things. So you'll need whatever the down payment amount is. You'll need your interest rate. You'll need the years. Whether that be 10, 15, 20, or 30 years. And then this will show your result payments. Now let's go ahead and talk about this for a minute. So let's just say the loan price is, let's just make something up here. Okay, so let's say the loan price is $125,000. Okay, it'd be a good start out. Don't start at the Taj Mahal. Work your way up. Okay, and I promise you, if you'll start out low and then a few years the family starts getting larger and you want to buy something bigger, you'll make some money off, because the price of land is always going to go up. It always will. So if you start out lower and then work your way on up, you won't be fighting so much about money matters, okay? Okay, so let's just say the loan is $125,000. Let's say you make a down payment of $25,000. That's going to be and then let's just pretend it's a 5.5% rate, and the terms are 30 years. Okay, your monthly payments on this would be $568. Now, if you were to make an extra payment on this, and you paid only, let's say, $100 per month, you're going to shave off about 5 years at least. If you, let's say you make an extra payment of $100 per month, and you do the little trick system to your own self, where you're making 2 of those a month, on the 1st and on the 15th, you know that always on the 1st and always on the 15th, I've got to make a half of a house payment. You're going to have this shaved off even more. And I'll tell you something, once you get used to this, you won't even miss it. Okay, so we talked about the down payment. Now let's talk about closing costs. These are the fees you pay to finalize a mortgage, and you're typically from 2 to 5% of the loan amount. It depends on who the mortgage person is. Now, moving on to other expenses after you buy the home, even if the house is in turnkey condition, you may find yourself making a surprise number of trips to the hardware store and to home furnishing stores. Okay, so let's learn just a little bit more about down payment requirements before we get started. Okay, how much of a payment is required? Now, we talked just a few minutes ago about a 10, maybe even 50, the bigger the down payment, the better off you're going to be in the long run. Now, what is the down payment? Down payment is the cash you pay up front to make a large purchase, such as a home. Some people do this with a car. You can use a loan to pay the rest of the purchase price over time. Now, down payments are usually shown as percentages of the price, like a 10% down payment on a $353,000 house would be $35,000. Now, when applying for a loan to buy a house, the down payment is your contribution toward the purchase, and it does initiate and represents your initial down payment ownership stake in the home. Now, the mortgage lender provides the rest of the money to buy the property. Lenders require a down payment for most mortgages. However, some types of loans backed by the federal government may not require any down payments. Now, do you need to put 20% down on the house? Let's talk about that for a minute. You may have heard that you need to make a 20% down payment on a home, but that's really just a threshold that many lenders use for requiring mortgage payments on a conventional loan. You don't have to make a 20% down payment to buy a house. In 2021, the typical down payment for the first-time home buyer was 7%, according to the National Association of Realtors. The typical down payment was 17% for repeat buyers. Now, minimum down payment requirements. Now, the minimum down payment required for a house varies depending on the type of mortgage you are planning to apply for. So 0% down payment mortgages guaranteed by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. VA loans usually do not require a down payment. VA loans are for current and veteran military service members and eligible surviving spouses. Now, USDA-backed loans, backed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the Rural Development Program, also have no down payment requirement. USDA loans are for rural or suburban homes buyers who meet the program's income limits and other requirements. Also, as low as a 3% down payment mortgages, some conventional mortgages, such as Home Ready and Home Possible, require as little as 3% down. Now, this is provided you meet certain income limits. Conventional loans are not backed by the government, but they do follow the down payment guidelines set by the government-sponsored enterprises, such as Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Now, as low as 3.5% down payment on mortgages, the FHA loans, which are backed by the Federal Housing Administration, require as little as 3.5% down if you have a credit score of at least 580. Now, if you have a credit score that's between 500 and 579, those do require a 10% down payment. Now, as low as 10% down payment mortgages. Jumbo loans are called home loans that fall outside the Federal Housing Finance Agency's conforming loan limits. Because these outside loans can't be guaranteed by the GSEs, lenders tend to ask for a higher down payment in order to offset some of the risk. Now, with low or no down payment loans, you pay for the guarantee through fees or mortgage finance insurance, depending basically on the loan. Okay, I see that it is time to go into a commercial break. We are going to return in just a minute, so you just hang in there, okay? At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community.
The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. Okay, we are back. Thank you so much for watching The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire, and also a podcast. Let me go ahead and give you that website. You can also find us on lots of stuff on this wonderful podcast. It's netnewsnetwork.net. netnewsnetwork.net. You might have to scroll down. It depends on how many other people are putting their podcast up there, but you can find enough info about it to promise you that. Okay, how to buy a house. Okay, what do I need to do? Okay, we talked about the first one was how to save money to get the house moving. So set goals. You got to do it. Set goals. All right, decide a total money target. And we talked about that. Okay, now number 2, scour your budget for ways to save. So you don't have to give up lattes. The cost of a coffee or 2 a week won't finance a home anyway, but minimizing other expenses may help you to save for a house faster. Here's a few quick ways to look. Okay, compare car insurance rates to get the best deal. Sometimes you can save quite a bit of money just by doing that. Find out if you can save by bundling your cable and internet services or changing your cell phone plan. Refinance the student loans or auto loan to lower the monthly payments. Cancel subscriptions you're just not using. Other ways you can do is track your spending for a month and just see where your cash goes to. Sometimes it just reaches out of our hands. We're spending money, we're not even aware we're doing it. I like the one right here where it says compare car insurance rates to get the best deal. That's something you can really do because they're not going to just call you and say, hey, we're going to save you money. You got to call them and you need to tell them you're thinking about changing companies. I promise you, they're going to find some ways to keep you on there. Cell phones. Let me tell you this. I know this from working in the cell phone industry for a long time. What you can do is talk to a customer service representative, and it's worth it. I know you're going to be on hold forever, it seems like, but it is worth it. Go on ahead and talk to someone, and if they can't help you, say, okay, let me talk to your, and here's the key word, let me talk to your customer save team. If you'll do that, you'll get some discounts, I promise you that, because they're doing all kinds of ways to get new customers on board. Why not do something to keep their existing customers? And that's all you got to do. Okay. Number 3, automate and maximize your savings. Set up automatic transfers from your checking to saving account so the money is out of reach for immediate spending. Okay. It's going to be a little harder for you to get to. You won't spend it. The stock market is just too vital for short-term savings, less than 10 years. So when you're saving for a house, keep your money in a high-yield savings account, a money market account, or certificates of deposits instead. Now, the CD should be timed to mature just before you want to buy a house. Maximize your savings by getting to the highest interest rates possible. Number 4, save raises and windfalls. Now, what do we mean by that? They can get look. Okay, transfer your tax refunds, bonuses, your raises, and any other financial windfalls, even something your grandmother gives you for Christmas, to savings before you get a chance to spend them. This will boost both your savings and motivation, and may soon put homeownership within a sight. Okay, this is another good one right here. Earn some extra money. Look for ways to make some extra cash when you're saving up for a house, such as doing freelance work online, making deliveries, or trading in old phones and electronics. Just beware of scam opportunities that ask for upfront money or financial information. Check out any companies before hopping on board and avoid side hustle tax traps. Okay. Also, there's a link on here, 25 ways to make money online and offline. And again, you're finding it through the nerdwallet.com. Now, side traps, tax traps that could side hustlers should avoid. Now, let's talk about this just for a second. First of all, if you're keeping bad records, lousy records, you could get in trouble with the tax man, okay? And you could just wind up, everything you think you've made could go out the window back to the tax people. So the self-employed can deduct business expenditures such as mileage, advertising, supplies, internet, and other services they use to support their businesses. But those deductions need to be tracked and documented to survive an audit, McNeil says. So keeping records as you go rather than trying to figure it out after the fact can be like bad news. Mileage tracking apps such as Mile, 1Q, and Hurdle can help, as can expense management apps such as Expensify and Shoebox. Now, ideally, side hustles would open a separate checking account for their extracurricular income and expenses. So having a credit card just for business can be a good idea as well. Pay it off before the month ends, or else there goes your money, on interest charges. So having a credit card just for the business can be a good idea, but a credit card statement isn't enough to prove a legitimate business expense in an audit. Got to have those receipts. The IRS wants to see the receipt as well. So tax pros recommend scanning or photographing paper receipts since they can fade and be lost over time. And speaking of tax pros, consider hiring one, especially if this is your first time working for yourself. A good CPA or enrolled agent can help you find deductions while keeping you out of trouble on the IRS. Ugh, you don't want to be in that kind of trouble. And I'll have to tell you, Rhonda Bonds at Rhonda's Elite Tax Service is who I use right in Boaz, Alabama. She is worth it. She's an awesome, awesome person. She works for you. Now, she wants to keep you out of trouble. She'll tell you of possible red flags the IRS could be looking at. And you can sit down with her and you can, what do I want to deduct? Do I even want to mess with deducting this if it could be a possible red flag? She'll help you see the light on that. And she's very well trained as well. Not paying taxes as you earn the money can be a terrible mistake. So employees usually have income taxes withheld from their checks throughout the year. Typically, that's not the case with side hustle income. Waiting until it's time to file a tax return to pay the taxes can trigger not just a big tax bill, but penalties as well. The IRS wants people to pay taxes as they earn money through withholding or estimated quarterly tax payments. Most taxpayers can avoid penalties if, through withholding and estimated payments, they pay in at least 90% of the current year's tax bill or 100% of the previous year's tax amount. Now, you don't want penalties, okay? It can be horrid. Even those who dodge a penalty likely will still owe taxes on net self-employment income, however. Net self-employment income is what's earned from the side gig minus deductible expenses and retirement. So McNeil, this is the author of this, also suggests putting aside 25% to 30% of any side hustle income just to cover the tax bill, since people who work for themselves usually have to pay a 15.3% self-employment tax just to cover Social Security and Medicare contributions in addition to their regular income taxes. And also what can get you in trouble is ignoring retirement savings options. Tucking away some side gig income for retirement can help make your future more comfortable while reducing your tax bill today. So two good options for side hustlers are a SEP IRA, that's SEP IRA, and a solo 401k. A simplified employment pension retirement account, individual retirement account, is easy to set up and allows people to contribute up to 25% of their net self-employment income to a maximum of $57,000 in the year 2020. A solo 401k has the same $57,000 cap, but it allows contributions up to 100% of net self-employment income. So I just wanted to mention that as a caution. Make sure the side gig is actually worth your time, because lots of taxes can be taken out of that. I recommend a side gig, my own personal self. I really do, because there are so many expenses you can write off you would not be able to write off with a regular job. Okay, so let's number 3, let's automate and maximize your savings. Setting up automatic transfers from your checking or savings accounts so the money is out of reach for immediate spending. We talked about that. Now, save raises and windfalls. Number 5, earn some extra money. We talked about that. Now, number 6 is track your progress and keep it going. Check out your savings progress at least every month. Now, the NerdWallet actually has a free app that can help you do that. So what you want to do is slow and steady progress, and that is definitely worth celebrating. Post a savings chart on the refrigerator or photos of your dream home, and that just kind of helps keep you inspired. Now, another question is this one right here. What is the fastest way to save money for a house? The fastest way to quickly save money for a house is to take the multi-pronged approach. What that means is cut extra expenses where you can, set aside raises, tax refunds, and other windfalls. Take on a side gig to earn some extra income if possible, and keep your savings in a high yield savings account. Okay? Now, can I buy a house with no down payment is one question. And it's possible to buy a house with no money down. So both the USDA loans for rural residents and VA loans for military members and veterans require no down payment. Now, some lenders also offer their own no down payment options. You just have to seek those out. Now, be really careful if you're running around all over town talking to different mortgage companies, and also if you're talking to different bank entities. Okay, and make sure if they're checking your credit, always ask, is this going to make a ding on my credit report? Because let me tell you something. If you're going, let's just use cell phone companies for instance. Let's say I go to AT&T, then I run to Verizon, then I run to Cricket, and then I run to whatever. So every single time they're running your credit, you know what happens? Ding! Goes on your credit report. And that comes as suspicious. Even though it doesn't make any logic. I mean, first of all, the logic would be you're going to shop around for the best deal, okay? But you're having your credit checked, and in this way, just to see if you qualify and don't have to pay any kind of extra money up front for your cell phone. Just be really, really careful. And anything you're looking for, remember, if you're looking for a credit card and everybody in the world is sending you credit card applications, don't run, don't go to all of them, please, because what's going to happen, again, ding on your report, and then when you're ready to search for a house, guess what? They're going to let you look at your credit report, and they're going to see all those little dings on there where you tried for credit cards, you tried for cell phones, you tried for this, you tried for that, whatever, and it's going to look suspicious to the lender, and guess what? They may give you the loan, but it's going to be on a much higher interest rate. So be super careful about that. Can I buy a house with no down payment? We talked about that. How can I get help with a down payment? We've got just a little bit over a minute left. Find out if a down payment assistance program is offered through your state or local government or a nonprofit. Now, these programs offer grants and loans to cover the down payment. Many of the loans are forgivable or have deferred repayment. Okay, I hope this has helped you out. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You know, you can find us on television, which is cool. You can find us on channel 182 on Charter Communications, Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Download the podcast. We would appreciate you doing that as well. You can find the podcast on netnewsnetwork.net. I love saying that. netnewsnetwork.net. So see if you can find it that way. We would appreciate you doing so. We'll see you in just a little while with another awesome either tidbit of help or another awesome guest. Again, thank you so much for watching.